No, it's not a dating app. It's just I'll just teach you English.
An eloquent partner.
He's not a psycho who might eat the babies.
But there can only be one winner, and blood will be spilled.
Hey, podcast kittens, it's Cathy Cat and...
Oh, Ladybeard, coming at you with another fun episode of Cat with Beard.
What happened to your usual crazy adjectives?
I mixed it up, didn't I?
Fun, shouldn't it be like blah, 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 ing?
I would hate to do what you expect from me.
Shock, gasp. Oh my God. Breaking expectations today.
Oh, sorry, I just moved your mask.
This is the sensor that tests how many times you're actually knocking the table.
That's one.
So,
two.
Exactly. We're trying to have less knocks on the table because they're really bad for editing purposes.
Yeah, they're bad for sound. Sorry, but since we've started. Okay, so moving on. What are we talking about today?
All right. This episode is again how to find your true love in Japan what nowadays actually is going on. Last episode we explained why Japanese love is different.
It was more like a how not to find love in Japan.
It was how not to really find love in Japan. And this time we're actually going to talk about how to find love in Japan. Nowadays.
Legit.
Tinder would like us to believe that the old way is dead, but it's not completely dead, and actually a lot of people still do that. We gave you the top 10 last time. If you missed that, check out the episode of the podcast before this of the top 10 of dating in Japan and where most people find their true love.
So, if you are a Japanese person and you want to hook it up for the long term, you've had your fun, you're sick of games, it's time to get serious and establish a future. Not future like the rapper, but like, days from now together with another human being in the form of a relationship leading to familial ties. How are you going to do that?
Right. First of all, you said first you have fun and then you want to marry. That's not what works for a lot of Japanese people. It seems you already, when you have fun, already think of marriage. There's a lot of people who are already going straight for the marriage route. They're like, okay, we're going to have some fun and get to know each other, but then we are going to marry. While in the West, it's more like, we're going to have some fun, we're still young. So that is a bit different right at the start.
If you're having fun in Japan, just especially if you're a gentleman, you know what's on her mind already. So prepare yourself, friends.
Yeah, like just, there's less people who are just randomly hooking up. There's more people who actually are aiming to find their true love.
Figure it out, that's right.
Find their true love. And there are two ways. One is konkatsu, which is for marriage, and the other one is koikatsu, which is just for love.
So last time we discussed koikatsu in a bit of detail, didn't we?
A little bit of both. We had a little bit of both and also the background of where people are coming from. And today we're going to look a little bit more at both sides and how you can find someone in a kind of casual way, but also how you can find someone in a serious dating kind of way. I know it's surprising, but a lot of Japanese people marry quite young. So she might be in the beginning of her 20s, but she might actually want you to maybe after a year of dating marry her at the age of 24.
Yeah, there's a real stigma. There's a real stigma in Japan still, especially regarding females, that if she's not married by the time she's 30, that's a big old problem. There's something wrong with her.
It used to be, that has shifted, but a couple of years before it used to be if you are, I think it was a 25, 26, you're the leftover Christmas cake. Because everyone has their Christmas and their Christmas cake on the 25th. But if it's the 26th, 27th, you're the leftover Christmas cake. No one wants to eat you after Christmas anymore.
Best before the 25th. Isn't that terrible, by the way?
It's absolutely terrible. Then people would say, no, this has moved to 30 now. So apparently this is now the New Year's cake.
New Year's Eve cake.
The New Year's Eve cake. So 20 seems to be the golden age of marriage. And a lot of girls will actually purposefully aim to marry within their 20s. So if you meet a girl in their 20s, her goal might be marriage. So you might want to figure that one out before you actually go into thinking it's casual. She might not think it's casual. And I think that's a problem where a lot of Western guys and Japanese girls can clash because they're like, oh, I just want to play around. She's like, no, I'm serious about this.
And then also you want to make sure, if you do go for the marriage, you want to make sure you both have the same idea about what a marriage is and what's involved. So,
a lot of talking about that.
So let's go into it, Cathy Cat. How are we going to get married in Japan?
Right, okay.
Not us, but how we.
Yeah. That was awkward.
Sorry.
We just wanted to make sure you understood that. Please do not ship us.
That's going to get chopped up by the internet, turned into all kinds of things.
Oh, God, no.
Memes of us. You want a wedding dress and me in a...
Maybe
me in a wedding dress would be better. Hey, if you're going to meme that, me in a wedding dress, please.
Exactly.
Her in a tuxedo, me in the wedding dress.
I'm going to wear the cute tux. You wear the... Then we're not marrying. All right. Anyways, that was awkward. Let's go straight to konkatsu. Some girls will, once they finish university, they will go and try to apply for work. And there's some girls who very openly will not go job hunting and will go marriage hunting. That is a legit thing here, would kind of surprise me a lot. They will say, no, I'm not applying for jobs. I'm applying for marriages right now.
Yeah. There's still a lot of, this kind of stigma is somewhat frowned upon in the West a lot of the time. But here, there's very openly a lot of the time, females treat the marriage as their retirement plan. So they're looking for a man who's going to have the money and is going to do all the work and they don't have to work anymore. So that's all right, cool. I get married and now I don't work. He does all the work and I take care of the house and take care of the kids. And that is still very, very standard issue in Japan.
I mean, we did an interview with Ask Japanese where we asked boys and girls after marriage, what do you want to do? What do you hope people will do? The boys majority said, I want my wife to not work and stay at home and do the house for me, do the cleaning, the cooking and everything for me and do the kids and everything. While a lot of the majority of girls said, I don't want to just do the house and I want to actually have my own job. So that's already where we see a lot of gender divide happening.
And also you can see East is East and West is West. You can see this dividing happening very apparently here as well, can't you? It's that you could not propose such a thing in the Western world, could
you? You don't just walk up. Just like,
go straight to jail. Instant cancellation.
What jail for what?
Internet jail. For saying the wrong thing and getting cancelled off all your social media.
About marriage?
About proposing that potentially a female should not be working and a man should be working, a female should be staying at home. These are things that are frowned upon in the Western world.
I mean, in the end, what the best is of you. We have to have a counter now for you banging the table. This is going to be your try to not bang the table anymore test. Please.
Sorry.
Please. You're a professional, Ladybeard. You're a professional.
A professional table banger.
You are, apparently, yes. You're a professional. You got this.
Keep talking about the getting cancelled.
Yeah, I didn't get that part about the cancellation. But what I'm guessing is, so that's, I think, is a sad gender divide as well. Because the world has changed and girls want to, if they have something they studied years for, they want to do that profession. But there were also a couple of dudes who said, hey, I'll just adapt it to whatever my wife wants to do. Well, a couple of girls said, I'll just adapt it to whatever my husband wants me to do, which was interesting in that aspect. So there's still a couple of differences of how this is approached. But yes, kekkon katsudo means marriage hunting. If you want to get married in Japan, that might be your first place to go to.
So how are we going to do it? How are we going to find a partner?
Well, according to government survey of actual married couples, they said only 6% of couples who met on the internet developed into marriage, and that's why they're trying to push traditional methods more. But then again, we don't know which government looked at that and what their agenda was. Maybe they had their own little let's cook food and fall in love event that they wanted to promote instead. But it does suggest that people predominantly use traditional methods, which we're going to talk about.
All right.
Right. About 25% of adults in Japan are using those konkatsu services. Don't worry, guys.
25%? That's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right.
A lot of people will, after university, go straight into finding a marriage partner. But there's also a couple of who are like, okay, no, actually, I do want to first just maybe have some fun. Generally during university, there's a lot of students who are just fine with not marrying straight away. So there's a lot of little places and stuff you can do to meet the younger singles of Japan.
Hey, hey, hey!
Hey, 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 hey! I heard a lot of cases of foreigners meeting their partner and even their wife online through language learning apps.
Oh, all right.
Because that's not the predominant reason why you're there. You're there to learn language. And if you get along and you maybe have a couple of online lessons, she might decide to, hey, I would like to do a lesson IRL. Then you hang out, have some meals together, and then it develops naturally.
Oh, all right. Okay, very good.
So that's actually, I heard of a couple of good cases of that happening because it is a less forced environment. The girls don't have to like be like, ooh, a kind of sleazy environment, maybe sleazy dudes trying to chat me up. No, they're going there for English language. You're providing them with English language, or they're teaching you Japanese. You get along, there might be a chance.
Sounds to me a little bit like a way that a man can sneak his way in under the radar, as it were.
If you get along,
Maybe a female sneaking in under the radar.
We're at 8, so it seems to have worked in a really good and wholesome way for the most people I've learned.
If you're interested in dodging that radar, there's an option.
That sounded really negative.
So sorry, that's just the first thing I think of.
What?
No, it's not a dating app. It's just I just teach you English. A bit of English teaching and so forth.
Yeah, I guess so. All right, next one. After that got destroyed and burnt as a wholesome way to find a partner.
These ones are rough, aren't they? These are some rough cat with beards, eh? Boy.
What's going on? All right. At university, though, you'll see a lot of kind of Gokkan activities.
Okay.
So Gokkan is like, that apparently starts even in high school a little bit.
Okay.
Pretty much Japanese people have you need to have a circle of friends you feel safe with to then get to know someone. That's why we also had in the top 10, getting introduced by your friends or someone else to another person. It feels a bit more wholesome. But if you go and you go one-on-one and they introduce you to each other, it's awkward. You feel a bit forced. Okay. Right? You're like, ooh, oh God, do I have to date? This is like almost like a setup like that.
It's a bit awkward. Yeah, you might not have anything to talk about.
It's like,
maybe she's quiet.
Very forced.
Maybe he has a head like a pumpkin. You'd be like, oh man.
But Gokkan works differently, where you don't just introduce 1-to-1, you introduce maybe 4-to-4, 5-to-5. So pretty much a guy will go up, maybe has like a female friend and says like, hey, can you bring 5 of your cutest friends? She'll be like, fine, if you bring 5 of your hottest friends too. And then everyone goes to a restaurant or an izakaya. And there's a lot of people that you can meet at the same time, but you still have the safety of one friend is always at the table and you're not pushed to just date that one person, but there's a chance to meet a lot of people. There's a lot of alcohol involved. There's a lot of games involved. You might want to know these games, especially if you're maybe here during university.
Oh yeah, these game thingamajigs. All right.
It started off as a university club or like girls from that university meeting boys from that university. Or for example, if it's a girls-only university or school, and then meeting like guys is like a big deal, kind of everyone getting together in the same thing. So it's a great place for young girls and guys to meet out. Find someone in their age group and see what's happening with that one.
All right, so what games are we going to play?
Well, apparently, it depends on what group of people you're with, but if you're lucky, the girls will have like a little bit of chat in the toilets. And they kind of go like, okay, who likes whom? And they help each other a little bit out during those games. Okay. So if one girl says, oh, Takahashi over there seems to be nice. I would like to spend a little bit more time with him or talk a little bit with him. Then maybe if the other girls are good wing girls, they will try and help her with that. So everyone kind of can like say, anyone interested? And the guys will probably do the same while the girls are on the toilet.
I would imagine.
So-and-so is cute, that kind of stuff. So you try and wing girl your friends. In a good relationship scenario.
I was going to say, potentially.
Yeah, maybe.
There's a potential to go wrong.
That could be, but hey, that seems to be a thing, and sometimes you will see it in Japanese dramas, such as the Yamanote game.
The Yamanote game. What happens, Cathy Cat?
The Yamanote game. So you have like a theme or something that you theme around. So you go, for example, the theme might be Marvel characters.
Okay.
And then you go, Marvel character name. Marvel character name. I really should not have said Marvel characters. So wait a second. We go, for example.
I just want to point out the fact that Cathy Cat just struck the table several times and Ladybeard is in the clear.
Gasp! You're right. But that's how the game is played. So you kind of struck the table.
So we're trying our laps. Let's do Marvel characters. We'll go on our laps. Ready?
All right, we're going to like.
Iron Man.
The Hulk.
Thor.
Black Widow.
I was going to do her. The Flash? No, he's DC. I lost. All right, I'm out.
Which now you lost.
Okay.
Which means generally you have to like do either like a punishment game, Butsu game, or maybe take a shot. That kind of
Japanese love a Butsu game, a punishment game.
Punishment game.
Punishing culture.
You might have to like take a shot or maybe tell a secret or do something that has been decided beforehand. So that's number 1, is Yamanote game. Very easy to play. You know the rules. Now, next one is the Pocky game.
Pocky game.
Do I even need to explain the Pocky game? Pocky are those long biscuits covered in chocolate one person has a stick in their mouth, the other person gets the other end of the stick, and you eat until one of them chickens out. Or they don't chicken out and they kiss.
Oh, look out. All right, what's next?
Next one is the Osama game,
Right.
the king game.
Okay.
That is like a typical Gokkan game that you see in shows about, which is like maybe a Western version of Spin the Bottle.
Oh, yeah, okay, fair enough.
It's like Spin the Bottle.
Japanese spin the bottle. Yeah, good point. Okay.
You have straws, might be old chopsticks or something that have numbers on, and one of them becomes the king. The king will then be able to order people around and make them do stuff, but they don't know who they have on their slip. So there might be like number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and they just go number 5, kiss, hug, number 1. And then it turns out it could be 2 guys having to hug. It could be a girl and a guy having to hug or to kiss. So that's kind of like, you can't exactly see who does what, but once you remember the numbers, then you can make sure that the girl who liked Takahashi actually gets to hug Takahashi.
1, 2, 3.
That's how you influence that subtly without anyone having to embarrass themselves.
1, 2, 3.
Next one is the mozzarella game that if Ladybeard is with you in the same room, you will lose.
I'm going to kick your ass in this game. Here we go.
Mozzarella game. Pretty much what you have to do is you say
cheese.
Mozzarella cheese. And whoever is the loudest wins.
Let's play.
Oh, God.
You go first.
Oh, God. My poor ears. Mozzarella cheese.
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 Mozzarella cheese. I'm awesome at this game.
So I would probably take a shot now. Everyone at the table would be taking a shot now.
What are we talking about? Yeah. Yeah. I'm just saying, if I were attempting to attract a member of the opposite sex, maybe screaming, mozzarella cheese would not be the way I'd recommend you go about that process.
Yeah,
but, you know, sorry, I'm really sorry. I'm so sorry.
Very, very.
Your hair's very soft.
Thank you. Thank you. Never mind. We're moving to the next topic. So if you haven't scared everyone else, and a Gokkan might go well. People afterwards might actually meeting during a Gokkan. It's almost like a blind date that's not as blind because one of your friends is always there.
Yeah, wow, that's right.
At least one of your friends is always there. Generally, the girls know each other and the boys know each other, so it's a lot less awkward.
Dale.
During that time.
Yeah.
So that is definitely one of those, but you have the safety with someone being there with you, and you won't get introduced to, again, scammers, strangers,
Kimberly,
frauds, that kind of stuff.
Roger. I'm just listing listing the names of the people in the various groups.
But this is a Japanese dating thing. Shouldn't they have Japanese names?
Hey, we live in the year 2023. It's a progressive time. These people have international names. All
right. Well, next one is Matchcon, that developed out of the Gokkan of the university students and the people who started hanging out university age kind of thing, and it developed into Matchcon. So it's like you take the Gokkan, but you add city into it.
Oh, okay.
And those are usually large-scale dating, match-up, hangout events.
All right.
Where literally the local authorities or event companies will rent out huge spaces to get many people to do it at the same time.
Right.
So, Matchcon, the next one, it developed out of the Gokkan culture, but now it's not just 5 people who all know each other. It's actually large-scale dating events that happen there, are done literally not 5, but maybe 50, maybe 500. Some of those can get quite gigantic. These events are so big because they're generally done by local authorities who kind of want to revitalize the area, or event companies who want to make a pretty buck, or just generally want to get people to the area and hang out, spend some time there. So compared to conventional large-scale events, generally the event categories have expanded. So the number of people being organized, so just age focused, so they have to be in their 20s, or they have to be in their early 20s. So they kind of try and at least find some sort of theme around it. So only people of that can go, or sometimes they just want to promote the area as well. There's also hobby parties aiming to match people with similar interests. So there could be anime otakus or art museum otakus. And then you get a lot of people in. I think I interviewed someone who's been to Matchcon, and she said, well, she didn't find love there, but she got to know the area and got to meet a couple of interesting people, and it was a fun experience.
That's helpful.
MatchCon, I think it will be easier to get in as a foreigner because you don't have to have Japanese friends to get in.
Okay.
We need to just tick one of the boxes, maybe living in a certain prefecture, going to a certain university and such. There's a lot of like university events where you can do that as well.
It's very helpful.
Right. Now we're going a little bit more serious.
All right.
We're not here to just like meet friends of friends. We're not here to meet potentially someone while hanging out. We're going real straight into konkatsu where people are actually trying to find someone to marry.
We are going to get the job done, my friend.
This is where the knot gets tied.
The rubber meets the road.
A lot of Japanese people aim for that. So if you want to find your love in Japan, be prepared that actually a lot of the nicest one might be actually going straight for marriage. So you might actually have to go straight for marriage if you want to find some decent young ladies and gents.
Dig in deep. Commit to yourself.
So for konkatsu, for finding a marriage partner, there's certain services. One of them are the konkatsu apps.
Well, the apps, it's like Tinder, but it's for marriage.
But for marriage and a bit more focused. So the dating apps, they specialize just finding someone to marry. No dating around. You're having a goal. You might want to be married in a week, in a month, maybe in a year at the latest, but definitely marriage is the outcome that everyone wants.
Do they specify on your profile, do you specify your marriage requirements? Like specifically, I'm looking to marry someone who is...
I guess that depends on which app you're going for it, but it seems like they're a little bit less strict than the agencies, which is the traditional way.
Oh, the agencies?
The agencies we're going to mention because they are like used to be the big thing.
Oh, wow.
So agencies were like the big thing. So next one is the konkatsu party.
Okay.
So they're all similar to the big parties we mentioned. They're organized by companies or areas. They're kind of, again, with the goal in mind, not for people to meet, but for people to find an eloquent partner in the right marriage age. So where men and women are looking to meet their future partner or lover in one venue and find a partner by looking at each other's profiles and having conversations. I find is the sentence I find a bit scary, is they looking at each other's profiles. Am I like... All right, so you are Ladybeard.
I am.
And it says you do work.
Yep.
Tell me more about that, especially line 3. It sounds a little bit strict. I hope it's not like that. But that's again
And here's the question. Do you want to be flirtatious and playful with the thing? Or are you going to be very strict and clinical with the way you deal with it?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure about that. But hey, at least these parties are they're getting people together.
Well, that's the most important thing.
So it can be also cross-industry exchange parties, maybe different companies coming together. And you can talk freely, someone you're interested in. You have like a self-introduction. So you kind of get to know people in a party kind of environment, but with a more serious outcome than the Gokkan that we were talking about.
With a goal and aim.
So most of them are apparently held at marriage party lounges. So already trying to get people into the marriage mood.
Party lounge.
Because party lounges, marriage party lounges usually look quite nice, right? And some of them are just management companies that arrange it in their areas and such. Next one, and that's the most traditional way that people seem to trust the most.
Okay.
And that is kekkon sodanjo. So pretty much omiyai agencies. Agencies that will make sure that they first sit down with you in person, get your details in person, check that you're a real person, and they even check on your passport that you're a real person, you're actually working where you say you're working.
Oh, wow, really?
They will really dig into you being legit.
It's like going to work for the FBI, isn't it?
I mean, since there is so much fraud online, their big sales point is you can trust us because we sat down with these people. Then they have a conversation, they say what they want from their partner, and then they find another person who will match those criteria, hopefully, for them.
Maybe the FBI should start their own marriage counseling service.
Yeah, maybe they have like all the insights into that. So again, it has to be very, very focused on marriage. And there are certain criteria that men and women have to fulfill.
Tell me what's required, Cathy Cat.
Okay, so generally men have to provide a good income.
All right, well, you've been told, gentlemen, okay.
And women have to provide the fact that they are young and beautiful. Those are, I think, two things that people look at the most. Girls look at the money, guys look at the looks. That it brings it really down to the basics, but those are, if that's what you look for, that's what you look for. People are pretty honest about that.
You've been told, you've been warned. Don't hate the player, hate the game.
Yeah, it's also, for a lot of guys, they have to show that they have regular income. That they are seishun, that they're fully employed, they're not part-timers, they're not contractors. women don't want to see that. They want to make sure that he has a steady income to make sure to look after the household and such. We mentioned it before because that's something that people will see very valuable.
Okay.
I think in the episode before.
What about things like ownership of property? Do you have to own a house as a man or something like that?
I guess it looks good if you can show that you have that, but you have to definitely bring some proof of identity and proof that you're single, that you're not secretly married.
So you have to go down to the registrar of births, deaths, and marriages.
You need to have a copy of your family register and everything. You have to show if you have graduated from somewhere, you have to bring in your degrees and show that it's actually that you're not lying about who you are.
Wow, man. Bring in your degrees.
Yeah, serious.
This is the most unromantic way to begin a romantic encounter you could ever imagine.
I guess so, but their thought is also like they want to make sure, A, that you are really legit because marriage is not, and that brings us back to episode 1, it's recently a unique thing, but before that it was a family thing. And arranged marriages were very important. So the family would look, where do we get people together that would match well and be productive for family reasons and maybe society reasons, that kind of stuff.
Can lead this family to prosperity.
So you need to know age, university. For some ladies, you have to put down your weight. Looks is definitely important. So yeah, it's literally, there's no, like buying the what is the word for it when you buy something without looking at it?
Buying something without looking at it?
Yes. You are actually like literally going in at the deep end. There used to be the 3 things that girls would look out in guys. They're called the 3 highs.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Kogakureki, which means
high education.
Exactly. Then koshunyu.
High income.
And then koshinchou.
High height.
So those were the 3 things that are very attractive in Japanese men. And if you watch anime or manga, they will still mention these.
Nice. We'll keep going. We'll get to the end before I add my comments. All
but
right.
the 3 highs have now changed, apparently, to the 3 lows. So instead of looking for Mr. Richie Rich, who has great university qualifications and is very, very tall and possibly handsome, now girls are looking for the other ones. They're looking for teirisk.
Low risk.
Low risk of them losing their jobs, so more steady jobs that are definitely not going to go, like maybe working for government or something. Shise.
Can't remember. Oh, that's right. So,
humble.
Low arrogance factor. So he's humble.
He's humble. He won't treat you or staff
badly.
And then teizon.
Low dependency.
Meaning they don't expect the women to do all the household for them and all the cooking, all the cleaning, all the kids. They can actually look after themselves.
He knows how to do the dishes.
Themselves.
Gentleman knows how to do the dishes.
So that has changed.
Yeah, what a set of criteria. Not at any point in there did they say he's not a psycho who might eat the babies. That is not considered high priority.
I hope no one does that at all, ever. But so these are some things people look out for, and I think there is generally often a clash that we do see between Western men and Japanese girls. If Western men come in with the I just want to have a couple of hookups, and Japanese girls will go at the, I actually want us to marry. There's definitely a clash. So whenever you meet someone, make sure that your priorities match.
But also, if you're dating and you decide you do want to go for the marriage, make sure that your values and so forth are aligned going into the future, because she might be thinking, all right, well, we've done this romance nonsense. Now I just stay at home and you do all the work and I raise the kids and shut up. But you might be thinking, we're starting a life together and we're going to be engaging emotionally. Maybe you're not going to be doing that.
Yeah, whoever you're meeting, whether you meet them in person or online and such, just be honest and upfront about what you actually want. And if you're deciding to go for an international marriage, family will be a lot more important in Japan. You will have to get the blessing of the parents and similar things like that. So it can get really difficult. You need to probably really put in the effort to make it work, because some things that you might take for granted and she takes for granted are not for granted.
That's right.
In their relationships, right? So always communication is key. I hope mentioning that, hope you find some way to communicate with each other in a language, whether it's your native language or her native language, fine. Or you take a language in between and maybe that's English and you guys communicate with that, which is also fine, but just make sure that communication is key, because that's when I see a lot of international couples in Japan struggle when they don't communicate their needs and their wants and also their future requirements, because whatever is normal for you may not be normal for her.
I also recommend you check out the laws of the two respective countries, because what a marriage means in your country might not be the same as what it legally means in Japan. So check that out as well.
Okay. Okay, interesting. That's another point. But generally, I'm going to put in a shameless plug here. As Japanese, we have asked a lot of people on the streets of Tokyo about love life and what they actually think and how it's different and such. So come over to check the Ask Japanese YouTube channel out from time to time, find out, because we are always out asking Japanese people whether they would like to marry a foreigner, date a foreigner.
Ladybeard doesn't do that. So don't come to my profile looking for those things.
Yes, but you can find us on the internet. It's Ladybeard on.
Oh, Ladybeard at Ladybeard_Japan.
Yes, and you can find me, Cathy Cat, as Cathy Cat _TV, and like I said,
Japan Railway Journals.
Journal. But you're very close. It's another episode if you're not getting the title right. Was good. You're good. But this concludes another episode about love in Japan. We've done one in season 1. We're going to put a link to that one as well. It was lovely to see you, but there's more coming up next episode on...
Cat with mozzarella cheese!
Mozzarella cheese!